What's good, yeah? Mr. Furious Torrent is out. We made it up to double S plus 15 or 1.5 million points, ranking number 21, whatever. Let's talk a bit about it, and let's talk about probably the weirdest fight in existence when it comes to Codex for the moment, because he's so easy.
Our research begins.
But yeah, let's talk a bit about the team. In general, if you can afford it, if you do have both, you do want to use Dolores and you want to use Elowen. That extra rage region just makes you do way more damage, just allows you to do way more ultimates. If you have them, obviously throw in the Silas, and then you just need two AoE marksmen. So for example, Nyx, Theowin, Nyx, Razak, Nyx, Maul, Razak, whatever kind of combination, and then you throw in either Lunaria if you have her, or you throw Naraka, because you do want to pierce a lot for this one. And yeah, that's honestly about it. Let's go through the builds real quick. And yeah, so Silas, obviously with some pretty fancy gear. We're looking at 46% rage region, 337 attack speed, around 100% crit rate, 228 crit damage, and then, I don't know, 180% attack. Shiny piece. We have a shiny piece that does healing effect, so it's not that special, sadly. And then artifact wise, we just have a Spirit Siphon, so not as exclusive. Nyx. Now, Nyx has some funky gear. On Nyx, we're rocking this gear right here, which is pretty disgusting, which gives attack flat, as well as increased basic attributes. Then we have nothing at all and nothing at all in the sense of force stats, right? And right here we have attack flat, attack percent crit rate crit damage, and right here attack percent crit rate crit damage, which brings us to a total of 209 attack speed, which is a bit low but still plenty. Around 200% attack, following it up with 100% crit rate, and then a massive 258% crit damage, and not to forget again this 3% after 60 seconds, as well as the Sharpshooter's Crest. And then lastly for Razar, oh yeah, obviously Nyx is A3, so we are dealing with 5 seconds longer ultimate duration, as well as 50 rage when killing an enemy, which is absolutely magnificent right here, and allows for a really high ult uptime. So yeah, her A3 is really strong. And then we have Razak. So Razak you could technically build in two ways, but we're just rocking him with a bunch of attack, decent attack speed, and then rather high crit damage. Though I feel like, yeah, sure, let's see if we can improve our score if we just steal a piece like that from somewhere. So if we just put on some more crit damage. Let's see, this piece is looking good. So we go with this one. So overall we now have less attack, more crit damage, even more crit damage from this artifact right here. And yeah, time for the fight. It's not really going to be a tutorial, at least for this stage. You see in a bit why. So we go in with Nyx, follow it up with Dolores, Razak, Silas on the left, and then Elowen with an Invig set to boost Silas, and then the best part ever, hands off, we're done. So if you're running a Dolores Elowen setup, you can auto this whole fight and it's going to work out. Because honestly, the point where you die is because there's too many of those swarmy enemies, so you can't keep up anymore. But that doesn't really happen if you just auto it. So yeah, you're going to die at the same point anyway, so you might as well just make life easy, hit that auto button and let it run through. So yeah, the main things you can notice, I guess, is going to be that obviously you want both of your AoE marksmen next to your Dolores, and because you have a Dolores, you do want to go for less attack, more crit damage, just to take advantage of the increased attack from Dolores. Besides that, honestly, there's also obviously the option to actually run more marksmen. So for example, taking out potentially Dolores, which I wouldn't recommend, or just taking out Elowen, and where's my cursor? There we go. taking out Elwyn and just putting another AoE marksman right over here, which also works, but the benefit of having Elwyn in there, just having more ults on Silas, more ults on Razak, more ults on Nyx, is just too good. And honestly, this A3 on Nyx is absolutely disgusting for this fight. Yeah, that's pretty much it, I guess. Like the mechanics don't actually really matter. Like for example, we have this flower thing that if you kill that one, you get a special effect, and then you have the healing ones. And if you kill those, you get extra rage region, you get extra healing, but you can't even really control it. It's not like you be like, oh, okay, now let me time my ultimate so we kill this green dude over here. You can't really force it anyway, and the auto targeting also just does whatever it wants. So I don't know. It's kind of a fight where you just put things in, let it roll, and then just be happy with whatever you get, right? And right here is the point where some of you might die, and that is this annihilating surge. The more tridents there are on the field, the more damage the annihilating surge is going to do. So for you to pass that stage, you want as many tridents gone as possible, and for that obviously you need a lot of damage. And for a lot of damage, I mean, you either need high awakenings, obviously Dolores is really crucial just for that point. And as you can see right here, we died at 1.4 million. And honestly, I think that has to do with running Razak at so high crit damage. I mean, we can check it again. We can also compare the different runs. But I mean, basically this is how I've been running it. And it is a really weird thing. But here we go. So we have 118, 107, 84. And in the 1.54 million one right here, we have 120, 118, 83. So the main difference is that Razak didn't do shit. So to change that, we're actually going to give Razak back his where did we change it? Right here, give him back his attack percent piece. Was it this one? Can we pick this one? 96, no. So let's go with the one that gives him 100%. Beautiful, 102, 181, Bloodborne Signet. Also the good part is Bloodborne Signet gives crit damage, so it does stack quite well with this one. And also one thing I've noticed is it's just more effective to have your Nyx at more crit damage. It just seemingly works out better, even though that shouldn't quite be the solution. I mean, we'll have a look at the auto fight. It's going to be faster, but it is still the same thing with auto timings. And yeah, I guess the major thing you can notice right here is that we should be killing the boss a bit faster this time, but honestly not by all that much. So yeah, it's again time for the boss fight. And overall, I guess my tip would be, if you really are playing a non-Elowin Dolores comp, that you do time your ultimates on the right and on the top left side, so that you clear out the enemies by the time you want to hit the trident. So you kind of want to wait for waves that your units can't really deal with, and that's then the time for you to actually go in with your ultimates to get rid of the units and to start being able to deal with the tridents. So yeah, right here we are already sitting at 150,000, 2 minutes 30 left. A lot of units come in. We're just hoping for Razak to kill a few of them, and then that funny domino effect to happen. But yeah, as you can see, we are still able to deal with the tridents here. And yeah, honestly, I don't know. It's kind of a weird fight where a lot of things are happening, but you don't really care about them. You just let the fight go and just pray for the best kind of deal, right? So right here we had 1.48 million. We were able to actually defeat the wave by taking out enough tridents. And right here, this is probably going to be the point where we stop. As you can see, 1.542 million. The enemies were just too tanky. We weren't able to kill them anymore. And there were too many tridents. Am I wondering why it works better if we have so much on Nyx? Am I wondering if we have so much crit damage on Nyx, why it's working better? Absolutely. Do I know the solution? Not quite. So yeah, I mean we can go with one more attack, see what happens, but I'm pretty certain we're going to end up with the same scenario. So yeah, by this point I guess this guide is done. It's a weird fight where you don't really need to do stuff if you play Eluin and Dolores, or where you kind of want to wait for like the big waves that do kill you. So mainly you're just going to keep it slow, keep it simple, and then try to figure out how many ultimates can you afford before you need them at a certain point or you're going to get wiped. And honestly, that's already about it with this fight. I mean, epic wise, who's going to be good? It's obviously going to be like Theowin, Maul, and that's already about it. Like Theowin and Maul, if you want to run epics. And yeah, that's all we have AoE marksman wise. Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird codex fight for sure. Will there be a time where we find a strategy to get triple S that isn't exactly this? Maybe, but for the moment, this is the best we have. This is the best you can do, and yeah, I don't know. It's a fight. That's pretty much it. It's a fight. And if you have AoE marksman, you're going to be happy. It's kind of again the same thing or same problem we have with a lot of like the codexes, which just end up being use these units you wouldn't normally use. Wow. I mean, it just turns into a have X unit perform a bit better, have Y unit perform a bit worse. Next, right here, you can see it. We changed it out for more crit damage, for less crit damage, and we somehow ended up with less of a score. We can check her damage again. 120 million turns out to be about the same. And yeah, that's been it. Furious Torrent is a weird ass boss, and we see each other in the next.